Awesome. So we are recording as we speak. I would like to welcome everyone again. Thank you guys for being part. I'm Julia from Creative 971, kicking off the official virtual Shopify Meetup number 2. And yeah, as you can see, our topic will be focused around COVID-19, e-commerce, chances and challenges in the UAE specifically, as we're all regionally and locally. So we want to make sure, you are covered with the best interest. And thank you for the great turnout. Again, letting you know, this is a screen recorded session, so you will have the replay rights later on, and all questions and all the information will be accessible to you. So here we go. I'm not only the co-founder and CEO of Creative 971 with a lot of experience in different fields, but leading on Creative 971 since 2016. We've been working on a couple of Shopify events. Pre-COVID, it was more in person. Now we're forced to do it more digital, but we don't want to cut short. We want you really to take the full juice, the full advantage of this event. So I'll be moderating through today, and I would like you to use the Q&A function if there's anything that has to be said. But other than that, please make sure to raise your questions to the end, because we'll have a separate Q&A function enabled for all the panelists and all the speakers, so you get a great chance to ask. So today I will be introducing, as I'm just doing that. We will have a quick dip in the agenda of hearing a bit from Shopify in the UAE, from Gary Mullin directly. So Gary is our Shopify partner, like our Shopify contact, and Gary was here, I think 2 years ago. He was here in person, and we had a Shopify meetup with him in the courtyard in Al Quoz. So whoever has met him, you guys already familiar with the face. Whoever didn't meet him, there you go. Then we'll be talking about the customer experience simply delivered by Ben from DHL, which is our official partner when it comes to logistics delivery. So DHL UAE or DHL Express UAE has done a fabulous job. Followed by the key to a win-win partnership between SMEs and MyFatura, which is by Hisham from MyFatura, which is our official payment partner when it comes to payment solutions. So you'll learn a lot from him as well. And last but not least, we have Radi.
Hello.
It's our digital marketing director, directly from Creative 971, who will be highlighting digital marketing and the challenges in COVID and how you can benchmark and overcome. Then we have our Q&A session. It's already set for around 10 minutes. I mean, we'll play this by ear. We see how things go. We don't want to drag this too long. We want to make it fully information packed for you. And after the Q&A, we'll have the winners and giveaways. So what I can tell you guys, please, 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 all of you, be active on social media, share Instagram stories, share posts, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you can engage in all the channels. Make sure that you are active and you are posting about the Shopify Meetup and why you should be part and why is it a great thing. Why? Because we have 4 lucky winners today, not only 1, 4. So winner number 1 will receive a free online course, which is our previous online course around the mentoring. It's a small online session around 7 to 10 hours of content that will allow you really to have a mentoring on e-commerce in the UAE. Another 3 lucky winners will receive 50% discount on our new upcoming online course that's purely focused on DIY. So we show you a domain, how you actually can have your website live, and that's all for really like 50% off if you're giving us a video testimonial. So the rest will be at the end at the giveaways, but make sure you post and engage, because you will learn across the session only when you engage and you talk to us. Even though virtually we share the love back, and you can actually walk away as a winner today. So we're planning to be done around 5:50, probably a couple of minutes earlier, depending on how the flow will run through. So with no further ado, I will just introduce you now, first of all, to what hashtags you should be using and who you should be tagging in your stories, Instagram story, Twitter, LinkedIn. So please take a screenshot of that. You're going to need those handles: Creative971, Shopify, MyFatura or MyFatura UAE. It is also posted up in our Instagram channel. And then I think it's DHL Express UAE as well, right, Ben? Yeah. So please make note of that. And there we go. A bit about us. That's one event that you've seen or probably attended as well. We are doing the training academy. So this is the course tv.creative971.com. This is the one you can win. So if you want to look out, have a look at it as well. Understanding our educational function, just to explain you a bit. And now I will hand over the event or the talk to Gary from Shopify. Stage is yours, Gary.
Thanks, Julia. So just one sec, folks, and I'll just share my screen so we can get up and going. Hopefully you can all see that. Can everyone see the slides? Sorry, my mistake. Cool. Thank you very much. So, like you said, I'm delighted to be back. It's been 2 years, nearly 2 years since I was here last. So, although I'm not there in person, I'm delighted to be back speaking. And hopefully, there's a few folks here who were also there in April 2019. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to quickly run through, for anyone who's not overly familiar with Shopify, I'll give a quick introduction to that, and then I'll highlight some of the main trends that we have identified that are going to be that are happening within the world of e-commerce. So first of all, what Shopify is. Shopify is a cloud-based multi-channel commerce platform designed to help individuals and businesses of all sizes run successfully. So Shopify plays a much more strategic and central role in the day-to-day business of our merchants. And what we like to think is far more than any software company traditionally would. We make it as easy as possible for merchants to set up and launch a store. Our multi-channel front end will actually allows you to connect with buyers and connect with your customers. You can set up your online store. You can integrate with as many channels as you need to reach audiences. So whether it's brick and mortar, so whether you're a store on the high street or a marketplace or through social media, you can connect it all through the Shopify platform. And you can sell on any device. So just to give you a quick idea, this is an illustration of our back office. So when you sign up for a Shopify account, you get access to these features. So you can, your payments, so you can take payments from your customers. You can run elements of your marketing campaigns through it. You get analytics to understand where your orders are coming from, what's successful, what's not, where your traffic is coming from. So you can analyze your business as much as possible to make key decisions that can hopefully set you up for success. There's also apps that you connect with. So there's different features and lots of different options available through our app store. You can manage your orders, shipping as well, which Ben will cover a little bit in a while, as well as your inventory management. So you can understand everything you need to know from what's in stock, what's about to go, and you can manage your inventory on a day-to-day basis, all from one system. So that's just a quick intro there from Shopify. From the numbers perspective, I won't delay on this one too much, but Shopify caters for all sizes, from people working as a side business to their everyday job to multi-million-dollar companies. So we have actually over 1 million businesses in over 175 countries currently using our platform. Consumers, so your customers, have actually purchased over 202 billion worth of product from Shopify merchants. And we now have over 5,000 employees in the company working to make commerce better for everyone, which is the mission of Shopify, which I've kind of just covered on my next slide. So that's kind of takes the punchline away. But this is essentially what we're about. Shopify's mission, every decision we make, every feature we launch, it's all with the intention of making commerce better for everyone. So every app, every feature we release is actually coming from feedback we're receiving from you folks, and we try as hard as we possibly can to constantly release these and make things as easy as possible for you to go out and sell and hopefully make as much money as you possibly can. To give you an illustration of Shopify, this is the light kind of green color depending on your screen settings. This is the revenue of merchants as of December 31st, 2019. So it's a little bit outdated, but it does give you an illustration that we are a global company. We are across all continents. We are constantly working to improve and release features that allow folks from all countries to use our platform much easier. So if there is ever anything, I'll cover it again in a bit, but if there is ever anything that you notice that you think could be better, we have 24/7 customer support. Please contact in, give us your feedback. We'll try and help you with a solution there and then. But if there's something that isn't available, we will always take that request and put that through internally to make sure that it gets on the radar of the teams and individuals who hopefully can make something like that happen for yourselves. Within the UAE, this is actually data that's coming from the store leads. So this is the cumulative stores using the Shopify platform since 2017. So you can see there's been substantial growth in the amount of businesses and individuals that are using Shopify even over the last couple of years. For example, and I can't take credit for it, but I know I was here in 2019. There was 1,273 stores. Within a year from that had nearly tripled to 3,312. And the last column that's there is as of Q1 of 2021. So you can see that growth has continued. And that's an indicator of what I'm going to cover next. That's an indicator of what COVID has caused to happen in the world of commerce, in the world of business. So what COVID has actually created is it's been a bit of a time machine. It's jumped everything forward many years in terms of technology releases, how we engage with our customers. So the digitization of your own business is becoming more and more of a requirement. It's a responsibility than the previously when it was a free choice. It was kind of an optional thing for businesses to do. You could be a very successful business having people coming into your store, coming into your shop. The world of COVID and the coronavirus has forced businesses to adjust and change, and it's dragged that development forward by a few years. This can seem like a bad thing. It's a challenging thing for a lot of businesses, but if you commit to it, it's also good news, because overcoming these hurdles now and positioning yourself digitally well, it sets you up for the future in a real positive way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of 5 of the key things that were found out through Shopify's 2021 Future of Commerce report. The link is on this slide, and I'll drop it into the chat after I finish speaking as well. It goes into everything in more detail, and it's really worth looking at it. Not all of them may apply to your business, but if you see what applies to your business and actually approach digitizing your business from that angle, it could really set you up for success, regardless of what platform you use. So the first one is something that we've seen. While the pandemic itself kickstarted a behavioral shift to e-commerce, the highest shift was actually seen in young consumers. So what we're recommending brands to do is brands should pay attention to the habits of younger consumers as they lead the shift to e-commerce, especially because they are the ones who are more likely to discover and shop via social media. They also are the cohort that prefer to shop for sustainable and green products, and they have a general desire to shop to have an impact. They're also seeking out those individual brands. Those are unique brands that they are attracted to, and that relationship, if cultivated, can last a long time. So young consumers will dictate the future of commerce, because young consumers today are also the consumers of the next 20-30 years. So they will dictate a lot of the trends that we're going to see happening. The next one is physical retail will transform as we know it, giving local businesses new advantages, and not just local businesses, but small businesses of all shapes and sizes. So omni-channel features and experiences that retailers have adopted throughout 2020 have actually given new life to physical stores. They've allowed business to take advantage of their proximity to their local consumers. So, for example, one of the biggest things that have happened is contactless payments. So I believe, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe cash on delivery was a big method of payment in the UAE for a long time. But contactless payments and the reluctantness of people to handle cash has actually led to contactless becoming quite popular. Alternative pickup and delivery options, so having local delivery, buying online and picking up in store, or also having pickup points, have all allowed businesses that have used their local consumer base. They've allowed them to thrive, not just in the UAE, but around the world. The next one is consumers want to shop independent. They want to, and they want businesses to be able to adapt to make that easier. So consumers expressed a desire to shop with independent businesses. There was this, around the world, there was a support local movement and a support small business movement to help businesses survive COVID. What that has evolved into a lot of loyalty to these brands, and the more that the more that businesses can actually cater for those demands and cater for those merchants, the more successful you're going to be over the extended period of time. Half of consumers that we've seen, 50%, look for independently owned businesses to support for reasons including, so they support entrepreneurship. They love to buy unique products, and they love the experience of good customer service. And most of us will know or have experienced that some of the best customer service we ever get are from those small businesses who treat every consumer like it's their first purchase. The next one, and the second last one, is more consumers are actually voting with their wallets now. So what's happening is brands that are demonstrating authenticity, transparency, and accountability are the ones that are getting the consumer's choice. They're the ones that consumers are willing to spend money on. So I mentioned it earlier, but businesses that are deeply connected with being green and sustainable, or there's a donation to a cause with each purchase, or they are shop local. So for example, something that in the UAE that could really benefit businesses is having that .ae domain to show that you're from the region, to show that you're a local business, can really help drive home that fact. And the benefit of doing that is it strengthens local economies, it helps support local job creation, and it allows merchants, when they're buying, to know that they're investing in their own community for the future. And the final one is modern financial solutions will disrupt business and consumer banking, finance, and lending. So this is a really interesting one. So providing options that traditional banks don't offer. So what that means is financial solutions that prioritize speed and access to capital, faster ways to pay, and more flexible payments like installments or pay now, pay later, or buy now, pay later, are the ones that are growing in popularity among businesses and consumers. So looking ahead, the road ahead in Shopify, we are continuously working to improve our platform, trying to add in new features to better serve you, allowing you as our businesses to better cater to your markets and your customers. There's definitely a focus from Shopify in growing internationally. So please do stay tuned as we will continue to develop and grow to serve everyone around the world, as many as possible. I mentioned earlier, but if you notice something that's missing from our platform, I would genuinely encourage you to connect with our support team and let them know. The majority of our platform features have stemmed directly from feedback of wonderful business owners like yourself. And if there is anyone here that doesn't have a business or has been thinking about going online, Shopify has its free 14-day trial. So what I always say is the worst you can do is sign up yourself for 14 days. There's no charges, no nothing. Get used to the platform, see if it's the one for you. And if you feel like you have further questions or you want to give it a go, then it'll always be there for you. And so will our customer support. So the final 2 slides are pretty much just wrapping it up. This is just something I'll be able to send on as well to anyone. It's just a few helpful resources from Shopify. So Shopify support is 24/7. It's free, it doesn't cost anything to contact us. So if there's ever something that you're stuck on, feel free to contact us anytime. We also have the Help Center. We have our App Store. There's Shopify Compass, which is a really useful tool to be able to kind of upskill yourselves. We also have some really interesting interesting podcasts on Shopify Podcast. You can hear different business stories, different insights from our CEO and CEOs. And we also have the theme store as well. So if you're just interested in seeing what's available for your business in terms of the themes that are there, there's many of them that you can look at. And for anyone who whether you want to or not, you can contact me afterwards. I'll always be happy to point you in the right direction or answer any questions that I can. You can find me on through email or just find me on LinkedIn. I'll be more than happy to help. So fingers crossed as well. I haven't taken up too much of your time today, but thank you very, very much.
Well, thank you, Gary. Thank you for everyone to listening in and to seeing what the news are at Shopify. I think, Gary, sharing your LinkedIn, you're going to be a star now. At least this was always in the in-person events. I'm going to not jump into our presentation. I'm going to ask Gary to stop the screen share.
Yes.
And then Hisham, you can Ben, you can just jump in. So actually, sorry for that lapse. So Ben from DHL is going to share with you insights from DHL UAE in terms of customer experience, what has changed. Now, obviously, COVID is still, amongst us, let's say it so, but we still have to make the best out of it, especially in the UAE. I think we had tremendous growth, especially in the infrastructure from many different partners. And I think that's why this session today is so valuable, because especially from the logistics and the payment side, that's the reason why Ben and Hisham are here as well, to highlight from that perspective how that needs to be optimized, and then to power it up with Radi and the digital marketing is exactly the way to go. So yeah, Ben, I'll let you lead this, and anyone else in terms of questions. I haven't seen any Q&As or chats. As I said, after the entire presentations, you will be able to, unless there's something very specific to the talk, just feel free to raise a hand or to just message. And there we go.
Yeah, look, thanks a lot, Julia, and team at Create for inviting me on. More importantly, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Gary, I love the to the future slide. I'm going to steal that one from you for a few presentations in the future. But look, thanks everyone for, as I say, tuning in. Today, really, I'm going to cover customer experience. What I really want you to think about is what it actually means to you. And why it's more important than ever. And my take on it is, I think if you look back through trends that we've seen with e-commerce, we've gone through different phases. First, it was about product availability. Then it was the realms of sort of pricing and value. I think now we're in the world of convenience. Everything is available to us. We expect it on demand. And I think now we're really starting to get into the customer experience. So I think that will be the next trend. So yeah, I'll give you my views on this, and hope you find it interesting. So before I get into the guts of the presentation, hopefully it starts moving, I'm just going to do a quick handshake, just following on from Gary. So I just wanted to give you a quick high-level view of our tool, which is DHL e-commerce, which is DEC. So basically this is a full plugin. It's there that has been built. You can pretty much set up and ship from anywhere. It's got a number of really good benefits as well. The team at Creative 971 know this tool very well, so they can get you mobilized and up and running very quickly. So it's got a number of really good benefits in there. And there's some things that we're actually adding in also as well, which we're really excited about. Unfortunately, I'm not able to share that with you just now, but I'll be back in contact shortly on that. But there's a number of things like automated shipping, the price on the checkout, but you can manage everything seamlessly. It also enables you to be able to sell through other platforms as well, like the marketplaces and stuff. So yeah, look, let me get into the guts of the presentation. So look, really, what are we seeing? What are the trends, and why do we think it's important? So you can see there on the left-hand side, by the end of this year, we predict there'll be over 2 billion shoppers globally online. You can see that will generate around $5 trillion rather in online sales, which is huge, right? And you can see that cross-border element would have achieved just shy of $1 trillion the end of last year. So that gives you an indication of the size of opportunity that is out there for us. You can see on our home market, GCC also grew rapidly. So we could see an online sales across all commodities and categories of 53%, 2020 over 2019. And we've seen that trend continue into this year, and we predict that we'll still see those type of growth rates into the future. Now let's put that in perspective. 99.9% of the world's population plus is sitting outside the UAE. So that gives you an idea of the size of opportunity available to you. And really, in my perspective, I think online has done well, as I think Gary alluded to, but can become a business leveler. So if you've got a really good site, it's seamless, you've got different payment options, you've got great delivery options to your customer. At the end of the day, that can allow you to be able to compete with the big global multinationals and also to compete in other markets as well. So really, as Gary alluded to with COVID, I think this has been the leveler. So I think really now that the companies will succeed out of this are the ones that are really focused on the customer and provide great customer experience. So what's happened? What changes have we seen in the last year? What are the typical buying habits that have been impacted? Look, people demand flexibility. They want everything on demand itself. Speed's obviously really important, but I think the key one for me is the reliability. What I see on a lot of global websites last year is delayed delivery promises, either because they couldn't get the product, they wasn't able to fulfill it, or they wasn't able to meet the delivery promise to their customers. Now, if you think from a consumer perspective, if they're buying from you from the first time, they get a bad delivery experience, they're probably not going to come back. From a business point of view, you're investing a lot to acquire that customer. You spend a lot of money on ads, running social campaigns, and you're not necessarily getting the returns because that customer's not coming back. So I think the reliability is really important. And the thing I would stress about that is whenever you're selecting a partner, you've got to figure out, if you really want to go global and start to supply to these markets, does your partner have the infrastructure to be able to provide that? And if you look at COVID, it had a massive impact on the commercial airlines, a lot of those grounded. So any sort of global partner needs to have not only reach connectivity between regions, but they need an intra-regional aviation network to be able to provide those services. Consumers, we can see the increase on m-commerce. I mean, that's only going to get bigger, especially impacted with 5G. So at the end of the day, that's an incredible opportunity for all of us. Consumers, they like personalization. They want to be able to pay in the local payment methods. I'll touch on that in a minute. And a lot of occasions, you can see speed is actually valued greater than cost. If anyone's like me who leaves things to the last minute, especially birthday gifts, I'm normally spending money to save money, or should I say a headache. So in that instance, I'd say it's really about giving the customer choice. Allow them to choose the experience, even though it means there's different price options as part of your pricing strategy that you're providing to your customer. And we can see here 58% of global consumers would rather choose a retailer solely because of the delivery option. So you think about that's 1 in 2 will not ship if they don't have the right delivery option. So that's the level that I'm talking about, and that's about providing choice. So that's really, really important. So I want to stress that point. There's a lot of really good facts here. I'm not going to highlight all of these, but 2 I'm going to really sort of deep dive into. So really, what are our consumers looking for, and what are we hearing? So you can see on the top left-hand side, 91% of consumers are looking for available delivery options before they reach checkout. So think about your own website today. Are you providing these options to your consumer? So when they start that journey, Are they aware that you ship to that country? Are they aware of who your partner is? Are they aware of the delivery options? Especially if you have a highly commoditized product, how do you stand out from the crowd? And I think in the bottom left-hand corner, the other one I want to really highlight, which is close to my heart, which is consumers are twice as likely to return to a retailer if they have a positive delivery experience. Do you think about, from a profitability perspective, the money you're spending to acquire that customer, retain that customer through incentives, through loyalty programs? You do all of that, but at the end of the day, if your carrier is not able to deliver that experience, at the end of the day, they're not going to come back. And really, you want to be able to build up that customer base. Okay, consumers, they want to pay local payment methods. They want personalization. So really what we see here is, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, 75% of consumers want to pay, buy products in their native language. So you think about really trying to crack some of the Asian markets like China. You want to get in South America. You know, these are the changes you need to adopt in order to be successful and have a positive impact on your conversion. If you're not prepared to make those changes, then obviously align your marketing strategy in terms of where you are going to invest, where you're going to get the biggest returns. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And you can see there in the middle, 59% of customers will rarely buy from a site that's only they can converse in English. So again, it's really about adapting to the local market. Okay, I spoke about the trends earlier on of what we're seeing moving into the realms of customer experience. You can see here really why consumers continue to purchase from abroad. So there's three things that stand out. It's the product availability. You know, that nothing changes. That product is not available in their market. They want to go out, maybe buy something different, or it's not available. So you can see better availability stands out. The other part would be the offering. So at the end of the day, this is about knowing your customer. How do you personalize and tailor the offering directly to the consumer? So you want to make sure that's appealing to them. And I think that's really important, how you build and communicate with your customer and provide those payment and delivery options that are going to please them to keep them coming back to your site. And I think the last one is the trust factor, and Gary spoke about it. So recommendations for other, I think social is becoming more and more influential in terms of our buying habits and our decision making. So that will continue to grow. So don't take that for granted. You know, if you're tracking that, great. If you're not, you know, listen to the voice of the customer. It's really important. So often we see that a consumer will buy for the first time, and the e-tailer doesn't follow up, or they're not tracking what their customer says about them. So just a tip: if you're not doing that, please start doing it. So look, why cross-border e-commerce? I'm saying a lot of whys and linking this back to customer experiences, because you'll go into a new market. Typically, you know, the area of opportunity, which I've already explained, is really on that cross-border piece. We can see here that it's growing twice as quick as domestic. And that makes sense, right? If you think of the UAE, 99% plus of our customers sitting in another market. So it's only natural that's going to grow quicker. We can see typically the average basket value is higher, so on average around 20%. That's typically because the consumer is buying more items per basket. So therefore, naturally, along with your pricing strategy, they're going to buy more to avail the free shipping. And you can see once the international shipping options being mobilized on the site, you would typically see an average increase of around 10% in revenue. And I predict that number will only grow, especially as you start to invest more money and grow into new countries. So look, it's not as complicated as you think. You know, if you're a small business today and you're only focused on the UAE, or you want to grow into maybe the GCC or further afield, it's possible. If your site's set up, you've got your payment gateway and everything ready, you're able to communicate to the end customer, receive payment, DHL or any other provider who has a global network will be able to reach these countries. One thing I really want to stress here is with COVID, is it's a great opportunity for you to be able to maximize with that transformation. A lot of customers now not going through, you know, the shop front doors to purchase. They're now starting to purchase online, and we're seeing that across all generations. There's a massive opportunity there. And I'll give you a live example. One of our customers last year took the decision that the GCC was very crowded. They wanted to diversify their business, and they took the decision to expand rapidly. and they grew their business into 50 different countries. And that was quite challenging to do that in a very short space of time, but the rewards have been great. And I've seen many companies do this. So, my advice, and I'll talk about in a minute, is, have a look at the analytics, see what information they're available to help you to grow your business. And these numbers, back that up. You can see in the left-hand corner, 87% of merchants believe this is their biggest window of opportunity to grow, to be able to go cross-border. And you can see there businesses that have already took these decisions, either in the form of an action or they've executed their plan. 71% of small businesses have already started to action or take action. Medium business 90%, and large businesses 100%. So when you look at that, it's quite sobering to see that these businesses are transforming so quickly. So if you're not, please obviously have a look at that, because there's a big opportunity for you. So how do we do this? Our partner is SimilarWeb for analytics. So really what we do is we work with them to look at the traffic for our customer site. We look at that normally on a lane basis. We wash that over the information we know about their competitors, their products, and the experience we built up over a period of time to see what sells well. We also look at ease of business in those countries, for example, things like de minimis values, which are for duty and VAT. And then we'll look at that traffic and then start to get an indication of what their conversion ratios look like. And again, personalizing that to that market could go up or down. But typically we see a conversion ratio of around 2% for online sales. For sort of best in class. That then gives an indication of how many orders they're able to generate to that market. You apply the average cart value, and now you've got a potential forecast of what that market is worth to you. If you can set that up seamlessly, and now you're starting to add your investment from a marketing perspective, so you start to drive the traffic, the site, the experience then obviously drives the conversion with the delivery options, the payment options, and all of a sudden you've now got an entry into that market, and you've got an idea of what that market size is for yourselves. So this is a tried and tested model that we've used on a regular basis globally, and it's proved very successful for us. If anyone's listening, if you want to reach out, we're happy to do this with you. If you're not using this type of method yourself, feel free to reach out to us. So now you've understood your market, you've personalized the offering, really how do you now start to reach a global customer base? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's really important that your partner has a global footprint. And as I mentioned, it's not just having presence in these countries, it's being able to connect to them. As I mentioned, with the impact of COVID, aviation industry has been impacted really hard. So you need to be able to ensure that your delivery promise is backed up by your delivery partner. On-demand delivery, I'll talk about in a moment, but that's really about personalizing that experience to the end consumer. Market intelligence, I sort of spoke about in the last slide. Website health check, I think, is really important. So if anyone wants to get in touch, we will share with you what we use as a benchmark. And really the idea behind that is, personalizing the delivery options as part of that customer journey, making them aware which countries you're shipping into, what your delivery promise is, what are you doing, for example, around COVID? Are you operating? Is there a delay? So on and so forth. And we find that's very, very successful as part of the customer onboarding. And I think the last thing is, as Gary mentioned, I think it's given the consumer confidence, especially during COVID. So you really want to maximize that opportunity. You've got a huge customer base who's buying online today. So that message has got to be really clear. And I think the delivery partner will back that up. So if they're buying from you from the first time and they don't know you, and they see that delivery partner, they recognize the brand, they're already receiving orders through them, that really gives them confidence as part of the delivery experience. So they're more likely going to purchase, and that will improve your conversion ratio. So on-demand delivery, you can see here, I won't spend a lot of time on this, but as soon as the customer checks out, we, as DHL in this case, are responsible for the delivery promise. So it gives the end consumer the choice. So you can see there's a number of different options that they're in control of. They can change the delivery date. They can leave with a neighbor if they choose to. They can select alternative address. Contactless deliveries there, so signature release. If they don't want it delivered to their home address, they can be delivered to one of our DHL service points or through our partners. And if anyone's lucky enough to go on holiday in this time, we can hold it for up to 30 days. Really what this does is just allowing the customer to choose what's most convenient for them. And you can see here just a very high level, I'll touch on it. These are the preferences we're seeing in terms of trends around the world. You can see in the US, around 97% of customers are looking for contactless delivery. You can see in the UK, it's sort of split, 45% contactless delivery, scheduled delivery, a time and date of their choice around 40%. And if you look at our home market, let's say Saudi being the biggest export lane for the UAE, you can see nearly 30% is delivered to a service point. So they don't want someone coming to their door to deliver it. Interesting, you can see alternative delivery is around 34%. A lot of that is around the, unfortunately, the bad addresses and not capturing the right information upon checkout to enable us to be able to deliver the shipment first time. So we're normally following up on that to get the right information. But as you can see, there's no one hat fits all. Every country, every consumer has a different request, and this is really about personalization. The last slide I really want to talk about, for me, the last mile is really the new beginning. And what that really means is, to me, is your customers generating the revenue, but it's your delivery partner that really drives the experience of the customer. And you can see how important it is to the end consumer. 90% of our customers are tracking their shipments status. So you can see as soon as they place an order, they want it, they want to know what's going on. Being able to get status updates is incredibly important. And for me, technology is very important. It's an enabler, but it's not everything. And if I look at customer experience, I'm seeing a lot of companies now, replacing people with technology. In my opinion, I think they go hand in hand. And it's only when you have really good experienced people, they're able to get the best out of these solutions, where it becomes really innovational and provides great customer experience. And that's really about the personalization of being available. So I don't think you can replace the human element. So I think for me, that's really important. I really want to stress that. And you can see 91% of online shoppers will leave a retail website if the shipping options are not fast enough. So as a rule of thumb, what we tend to see is the mid to high end basket values, luxury, we'll use an express option if we really focus on customer experience. The mid to low ticket values where the margins may be a little bit tighter, they will go with a slower service. But the ones that we've seen are really successful will layer that with an express option. So it becomes about choice. If you're concerned about the margin, you charge that onto the end consumer, but you give them a choice. Yeah. And really the closing comment for me is the last mile is the only physical touch point. So whoever you're choosing as your delivery partner, it's their responsibility to get that right. And it's only then there'll be a successful marriage between you and the delivery partner, and to basically deliver a great customer experience for the end consumer. I have a case study which is between DHL and Shopify, but I think I've run out of time, so I'll move on. And look, that's it for me. I just want to say thank you for myself and DHL. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You've got my details. It's Ben McLean. You can find me on LinkedIn, and that's it. So thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. And Ben, we got a question in the Q&A live. I'll just click answer live for Omar. He asked, does DHL Express have a minimum orders per month requirement to onboard a startup clothing brand? Or is there certain parameters that a startup would need to know before working with you?
Yeah, sure. If we've got time, I can answer that now.
Yeah. Also, Jackie was asking if DHL has the ability to work with small businesses locally, that they have contacted DHL in the past but didn't have a very positive feedback. And if Shopify has the ability to tie in with DHL. So maybe you can just touch point on these two because they're very similar, and explain also about the integration to Shopify. So if you can just explain that in a few words, it would be great, as there's some questions from the audience.
Yeah, sure. Look, first and foremost, Omar, Jackie, thanks for the question. So the DC solution that we spoke about is available to all customers. It's specific for e-commerce. It's been built that way, so that is available. Historically, and I'm sorry that you've had a bad experience. What I would say is we've built programs which are really tailored to the sort of size and spend of a customer. And one of the programs we introduced last year was around social. So we framed it social, let's say micro customers, so that way they can actually operate with DHL. They don't have to take an account, but they can get all the benefits as well. So they can basically pay on a transactional level. They can drop it into a DHL location if it's more convenient, but they still get a highly discounted tariff as well. So we try to do that as more of an incubator to help small companies grow who didn't actually meet the minimum threshold to take an account and get a credit with DHL. You're also able to pay with credit card as well if you want a credit line, so we can accept payment that way as well. So we introduced that, and that's been a very successful program last year. And the idea behind that is to work with that small company, help you grow, and obviously move through the different sales channels within DHL. The guys are trained, they've got expertise, they're able to help you, and they'll be able to provide similar information I provided today. So in simple terms, yes, we're very, very focused on the micro sellers. We want to help you grow. We're really interested to hear from anyone, and we've designed programs specifically for that. If you then grow into a sort of small size customer, we'll then offer you an account and obviously credit terms as well.
Thank you, Ben. So guys, as we also have an anonymous attendee asking how we can get in touch. So I think the message of this for all of you, reach out to either to us, Creative 971 will bring you in touch with the right person, or as Ben offered, to connect directly with him as well over LinkedIn or with the DHL Express UAE. I mean, we can always, share contact details. You have the details as well in this presentation, in the recording as well. I think Mariam, so the option is to drop at a service point for startups. Apologies, I could not hear well. So maybe Ben, give a sentence to this, as well as maybe for all of you to know, Shopify has an integration with DHL, which has been worked out, but not for the lowest plan. So they have a live carrier calculated version that is available. And maybe Ben, just one sentence for how to get in touch with you and at the service start point, as Mariam and one more attendee was asking that. So maybe just one last sentence on that, and then we would leave it to the rest of the Q&A sessions at the end.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, that sort of social program, the idea to bring that cost down is we've seen that it's been a lot more convenient for customers to drop into our locations, which are centered around the UAE. So we've got a lot of convenient locations, mainly in the shopping malls, so they're very accessible. So that's a really good way of being able to bring down the cost, because we're not picking up for you, at the same time able to give you very competitive rates. So from a delivery standpoint, you can maximize the benefits of that. So yeah, that's available, and anyone who wants to reach out, we can talk you through those programs directly.
Awesome. So Ben, I have to ask you to stop the screen share, please. Awesome. So here we are again. I will quickly jump into from our end. Sorry, I have to jump a few steps now to reach where we are. So first of all, just as a bit of a breather as well, we've seen Gary's presentation, we've seen obviously Ben's. As you can see, I mean, overall touch points I think are quite clear. And especially for all of you who are not aware of that, DHL is actually our partner, meaning there is an integration, especially on the e-commerce front. I think there is largely opportunities available that came with different sorts of questions, of course, so we can answer them later in the Q&A for you as well. So far, I hope everything was answered till now. I have to remind you guys, please keep posting, sharing your stories and insights, because if there is no story shares or nothing, we cannot pick a winner. So please support us. Keep posting, sharing, even if it's just a screen share and you see us smile or whatever it is. Make it happen and engage with us, be there, and yeah, get your chance, of course, to win the online course. Now, I'm going to head over to Hisham on the payment side of things to fill you in from that perspective as well. And yeah, Hisham, go ahead with the screen share and your presentation.
Thank you, Julia. I'll just share my screen now. All right, so thank you, Julia, for organizing this outstanding meetup, which shed the light on the challenges and opportunities for businesses during and after the crisis of COVID-19. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our attendees and the participants for making this happen. Let me introduce myself now. My name is Hisham. I'm representing MyFatura Payment Gateway Solution Company. And today I'll be talking about online payments and its pivotal role in supporting businesses during this pandemic. So the first question that rises into our minds when we think about the changes in consumer behavior post-pandemic is how COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the payment industry in general. Customer spending has been decreased drastically after COVID-19, in which has damaged many industries such as tourism, travel, airline, and all of this happened due to lockdowns and other restrictions. So therefore, the decrease in spending behavior has affected the payment industry, and since the number of daily transactions also has decreased drastically. And however, during this pandemic, consumer spending and shopping behavior has shifted toward the adoption of online facilities, which led to an increase in demand for e-commerce stores and contactless payments. So the online payment solution companies has benefited a lot from and changed the behavior of customers and their spending behaviors. So due to this market shift, e-commerce and e-payments has become a must to have, not a nice to have solution. So due to the unprecedented growth in online transaction volume, which while decreasing in-store sales, and most SMEs are currently seeking a quick and affordable e-commerce and e-payment solutions. Therefore, I will go through MyFatura Payment Gateway and talk more about it. In MyFatura, we provide online payment solution locally within GCC and Egypt. We support multiple payment solutions such as Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Apple Pay, and many local payment solutions such as Sadad, STC Pay, NAPS, MEDA, and Knet in Kuwait. Therefore, why MyFatura? What the impact that MyFatura would add to an SME or a startup when starting? In MyFatura, we provide complete payment solution, which will help startups and SMEs to have an overview of all the online transactions that they are having and to facilitate their online payments solutions. Payments gateway and payment links, we provide that with our solution as well. We can directly integrate to your website through the major shopping carts such as Shopify and other shopping carts. And also we provide payment link solutions through our application with support offline payments as well. So easily it will be sent through a link to customer through WhatsApp, social media. So it will facilitate the payment side for businesses. It's an easy to use application. The dashboard that we provide will monitor all of the transactions, and we provide exclusive services that suit all business sizes and needs. For example, from startups to big enterprises as well. Sign up process. So for us to make it easier for startups and for SMEs during this situation, we make it as a 24 hours process for us to integrate and to start with us with MyFatura. We have minimum requirements. We go directly and screen the business and check for security. And we do this in the easiest and most seamless way to support the business to launch and start as quick as possible. Therefore, some of our features are the payment gateway integration. It's easy to integrate. It will go live within minutes. So we also have the create invoice, quick invoices, batch invoices as well, which supports offline orders and payments. And for the currency, and we offer some different currency solution for GCC currencies as well, as long as for the commission payouts, since some businesses would like to start without paying commissions for their provider, so they can, for example, share commission fees with their customers, their clients, or place it on their customer fully. We provide this option as well. We have a 360 dashboard. You can navigate through it. You can check all of the transactions, all of the orders, all of the sales easily and smoothly. Also, we provide deposit reports, which show each and every deposit you are receiving from MyFatura to your bank account directly, along with multi-user option. In multi-user option, we allow businesses to create smaller accounts for their employees to control their dashboard as well. So for example, if a business owner is integrated with MyFatura and they are using their master account, they can create smaller accounts for their employees to facilitate and make it easier for the business to run their operations. We have custom payment links, which could be shared on social media and WhatsApp, and invoice reports that shows all the transactions, all of the debits and credits for the account, and profile setting to customize the profile, to customize the payment page with all the details needed, as well as the refund system that we have, that you can refund partially or fully for your customers instantly, and it will be easy for the business to do it. So MyFatura benefits to startups and SMEs. First of all, we offer reduced setup fees for SMEs, freelancer, e-traders, and our partners, such as the partners we partnered recently with Creative 971 agency, and we are providing special offers and special pricing for their agents. The minimum we offer minimum documents required, so we make it as a light due diligence to make it easier for startups to run immediately on their business immediately, without any hassle, without any delays, and to go fast to market. So no waiting time for account approval. We support personal bank account along with corporate bank account as well. And we offer the flexible commission payment.
Hisham, quick one, actually very valid question we got while you're talking about it. If MyFatura requires the merchant to have a legal entity in the UAE, or if you allow a personal bank account to be linked as well. So maybe you can just touch point on that. As you just mentioned, it just came in the question.
Yeah, exactly. I'll talk about it now. Actually, at MyFatura, they should have a trade license, but we can support personal bank account. For example, if they have an e-trader trade license without a company bank account, we can just integrate it of one of the partners' bank account. So no need for a business bank account to be integrated. So I'll carry on. For our commission payments, our commission could, from our dashboard, the vendor can choose to pay the commission from his side, or they can place it on their customer, or they can split it on 50-50 terms between them and their customers. It will be shown clearly on the invoice page. Also, we provide financial inclusion for businesses to track the history and to improve their relationship with banks, and to have, for example, corporate accounts, loans, and VAT. Therefore, that's it for our side. Thank you very much. Please feel free to ask me any question.
Awesome. I think there was one question. No, that question came in. So obviously, for everyone understanding that Hisham is always available to talk. I mean, he's usually the contact person anyone speaks to when it comes to payment solutions. I think as well in timing or onboarding, we've had a couple of people already that have used the onboarding with Hisham. Very helpful. They went live in literally 48 hours. So, you know, like usual obstacles of payment gateways or logistics. I think with Ben and Hisham, you got a really good duo to make your, to make your e-commerce not only quick, but also successful. Hisham, there is one question from Zainab. Are customers comfortable with using payment links here in the UAE, or is it better to integrate a payment gateway to the store? And then Khaled was asking if you can explain more about recurring billings and how does the procedure work with SMEs?
Okay, so thank you, Zainab, for your question. Actually, we have two type of customers. One type of customers are comfortable with using payment link. For example, customers who are selling through Instagram, for example, small customers or startups who are starting to sell and advertise through Instagram and doesn't want to invest heavily on e-commerce and build a website. And so just as a beginning, we have many customers who are starting with payment links, but then in the future, once their sales increase, once their revenue increase, they will integrate with our gateway. And we offer this option to upgrade your subscription from payment links only into website integration as well. And for
Yeah, sorry. There is more questions coming in. Can you see the Q&A questions yourself?
Yes, I'm checking now.
Okay. So whenever you answer, just click on answer live and we'll go through quickly those 4 questions. Zainab, Mariam, Anonymous, and Khaled.
Zainab is done. I finished. For Mariam, thank you, Mariam, for asking. My Fatura only covers GCC and Egypt. So in case of quad region, how this will work? Actually, for my Fatura, we cover like international, like we only provide our services in GCC. We have branches in GCC and Egypt, but you can collect payments from all over the world. It's based on your business. We have a small check on your business first to enable international access or GCC based on the security of your website and based off our analysis, how we checked for the security. So it's up for the website security and reputation to enable international or GCC access only. Okay, there's an anonymous attendee. Can you brand the payment page to match the website? Actually, I believe you mean like direct integration with the website instead of going and redirecting to a different page for the payment option. Yes, we offer this solution, and also it's up for the website security and business security. So we evaluate the business, we ask for extra documents to check for the security of the website. Then we will go for direct integration with the website. Okay, we have another question from Khaled Abdullah. Can you please explain more about recurring billing payment method and how does the procedure work with SMEs? Actually, currently at My Fatura, our recurring payment solution is done by sending automatic invoices for a specific period. For example, you can identify, for example, each month I want to send the invoice for this specific customer. So it will be automatically sent to the customers on their WhatsApp, their emails. It's up to the way you choose it from your dashboard, actually.
I think there's some more questions coming in from Same as well on the panelists chat, and from Faris as well, from Anonymous, and Mariam again. I think, guys, as due to the time, we will proceed, but Hisham will note down your names and answer them directly or type the answers on the chat, so it will be available to everyone. As of time constraints, Hisham, if you can just hop off the presentation.
Yes.
So we can jump in from here, and then you're going to hear from Radi. Thank you as well for these, specifically people that have started sharing stories. So please keep up on it, share news, tech information, let us know social shares, and Fatima, Mariam, Faris, and Same. Hisham is on it and he will focus on you. We have to proceed as the other members are all waiting eagerly to hear from Radi. So I'm gonna move forward to the presentation to show you and to quickly introduce you as well to Radi. So Radi actually is our digital marketing director. He is part of the team with us since a couple of months. He has been amazing experience on digital marketing backgrounds, especially in the retail. So he's a great asset. Even if you have a lot of questions for him and we can't cover that all in the time, I would highly reach out or actually announce you to reach out to him. So without cutting him off, I would just actually let Radi start with the digital marketing and COVID-19 challenges.
Well, thank you, Julia, very much for the introduction. And hello, guys. Without further delays, let me just go straight to the points. I want to highlight some of the important aspects of digital marketing. And as you all know, like digital marketing, the importance of it, it's a targeted platform. So each ad you create is always only seen by qualified prospects and targets. And target audience member. So traditional advertising is a hit or miss, but digital platforms will actually help you. But digital platforms are changing the game. So SEOs and PPC can put your brand name and your content marketing in front of your customers at every stage of the buying cycle. So social media channels like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, they will offer you flexible ad options that allow you to segment by geographic location, demographics, interests, and more. Furthermore, the invitee, it actually helps you in the invitee's mobile engagement. So digital and mobile marketing go hand in hand, and digital advertising allows you to reach your audience on the go, wherever they are and whenever they're online. It's an especially great place to reach the Generation Z and millennial customers. In fact, it might even be more effective to advertising on mobiles and desktops. So as per AdRoll's Facebook by the numbers, reports found that click-through rate on Facebook newsfeed ads is typically 10% higher for mobile than desktop, and produces a cost per click that was 61% lower than desktop. Another reason for digital marketing is to it's faster to the market. So market conditions and trends change very quickly, and that requires nimble marketing. Digital campaigns can be executed much more quickly, and they can be modified in the fly if you need it. So if you have a campaign that you need to run it right now, you can actually go with it through digital. It's actually easily to measure. So with digital campaigns, the metrics are built right in. You know exactly who clicked on your content, opened it and referred it, and even shared it, etc. You also can trace the source of your traffic from the entry to the shopping cart and eventual purchase. This will help you determine which platform and strategies yield the best results and which deserve more investment. And you can definitely measure the ROI, and would help you with your data-driven decisions. So a main point is you can actually maintain top of mind awareness to your clientele. So does your customer like that sweater? Maybe she does, but maybe not enough to buy it. So a study revealed that average online shopping cart abandonment rate is almost 68%. And that's where digital advertising has a major advantage. While it would be creepy and desperate to just run to that customer outside your store in the mall and beg her to come back to make a purchase, with digital advertising, you can actually reach out to her again without seeming like a stalker through remarketing and retargeting. You can stay in front of her to suggest one more time that she purchases that sweater. And retargeting means that the sweater will show up in her Facebook sidebar the next time she logs in or appears in an ad spot on her Facebook blog. With remarketing, you can actually ping her again with an email to remind her of that lonely shopping cart. So you can actually reach out again to those customers who visited you and abandoned your cart. So moving forward, what are the challenges that we've been facing? We all have been going through hard times during the COVID-19 crisis. So actually in the middle of difficulties lies opportunity. The coronavirus has affected all businesses, and marketeers need to adapt to their marketing strategies. So physical events such as business conferences, sporting events, and concerts have been canceled, and global markets have been in a free fall. Companies such as big companies such as Unilever, Spotify, and Google are actually encouraging employees to work from home. And now marketeers are asking themselves, how permanent are these changes? So now we're actually dealing with a different consumer. So brands already catering to the sofa surfers have shown to be in the clear, and in some cases even seen an increase in sales. Brands that are traditionally offline have innovated new online products in an effort to adapt to this new way of living. The most important factor of the pandemic is obviously the health of the population, but there are far more people affected than merely the sick. Actually, businesses are feeling the effects of the virus, and companies are announcing cutbacks, and one after the other. So marketing departments around the world are noticing the effects as well. So most marketeers are at a crossroad, wondering which path to take in such an uncertain future. So how are marketeers actually responding during these crises? We have the short-term adaptations. So recent research showed that around 61% of marketeers are altering their short-term media strategy. However, only almost 9% are making long-term changes. So there is a big move from offline media to online, as marketeers would take a more online approach. These budget shifts is not surprising, considering that digital media is consumed at a higher rate due to the online lifestyle of the post-corona consumer. So we have also moving to flexible channels, which is marketeers seeing these such cut in budgets will benefit by moving forward to cheaper and more flexible channels where consumers' presence and available impressions are increasing. So digital display ads, social media, online videos, all these channels that most likely will increase in the short-term media plan. Out-home advertising, such as billboards, will have much lower exposure, definitely, and event marketing has come to an immediate stop and will likely see the marketing budget cease or shift towards online ads. However, not everyone sees marketing budget cuts as a solution, as some B2B brands are increasing digital advertising spend to compensate for the leads they otherwise would have picked up at events. So for the long-term concern, we have an existing concern that no one really knows when the pandemic is over and everyone can go back to their regular lives. So we are actually seeing how spend is decreasing in many industries like the travel sectors, retail, or events. They're scrambling to save costs. However, many on-demand online services have increased advertising spend, especially in the online channels. So services such as online food delivery service, streaming, or online news outlets are benefiting from a higher online presence. These brands want to take a larger market share and they actually increase spend. So here, as you can see, this is a media consumption influenced by the COVID-19 and clearly the usage of the social media platforms has increased significantly as to other media platforms like using social media and streaming content and of course from people staying at home the previous times. Following that, we'll be here to find the increase. You can see the number of online shoppers by category who conducted at least one online purchase every 2 months. The increase of users who used to shop in store and actually shifted to online shopping instead. So here are the number of the cosmetic. As you can see, the pharmaceutical has already increased by 9%, and we have also the electronics good and etc. So what to keep in mind during this pandemic? The uncertainty of the future is understandable. Nonetheless, this too shall pass. Nonetheless, this too shall pass. It is important to stay focused on the long term and not shy away from new growth opportunities. Branding works best for long term. Cutting budget spend too much will not necessarily could negatively impact the brand when the pandemic is over. Marketers should not forget that in the midst of crisis, there could be opportunity. So let's seize the opportunities. This is a new time for everyone. So not to mention the consumers, we're seeing a new type of online behavior. During the coronavirus, consumers are online at times which marketeers may not have been used to. Online activity and shopping shifted to midday when activity in normal circumstances are low. Online activity is higher since there is a constant stream of breaking news, and media actually became cheaper as marketing budget in certain industries are cut. So if there's a possibility, capitalizing on this will have clear positive effects on the share of voice. So with many affected companies decreasing their digital marketing budgets, actually we're seeing a decrease in the CPMs and CPC prices. So actually it's good to start pushing forward for your digital advertising budgets. And this is an ideal opportunity for some marketeers to acquire new customers at a lower cost. At the end, I'm sorry, this is, yeah. So adapt to new consumers and customers. For a brand, an online presence has never been as important as today. So try to treat your daily work as business as usual, but keep it digital. Locate your target audience and how their lifestyle has changed and map out how you should be targeting them. What is your target audience? What is your target audience emotional context? What do they want to hear? How should you be communicating with them? Don't underestimate how the coronavirus has changed your customers and how it has affected their demands. So at the end, from my side, there's no doubt that the coronavirus has left its mark in history. The question is rather how much things will change and how will the world look when it's all over. So we have now seen the effects on different industries and marketing efforts, but how will marketers adjust? More digital solutions need to be considered for all industries like webinars, digital entertainment, and virtual doctors, even if it's needed. And even during a time that feels like a downward spiral, there can be an opportunity to be seized. And thank you.
And still here, because Ahmed has asked a question in general, as we're coming as well, of course, to the questions now for all of us. So what I would like to know from Radi first, I think this question was for you. Recently, Google Merchant Center and Facebook Commerce are blocking dropshipping stores. Do you know why? Do you have insights? And then do you have connection with Facebook? Ahmed, connection with Facebook? We don't have a connection with Facebook. I mean, Radi, I'll let Radi answer this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for the first question, recently Google Merchant Center and Facebook Commerce Manager are blocking, disabling dropshipping stores. You know why? Not certain, like I don't have an actual answer for that, Ahmed. I'll have to look it up and we can get back to you on it. As to connection with Facebook, we do have a connection. We have an account manager at Facebook that we actually get back to if needed, or if we have faced any issues with any of our ads or accounts. So yes, the connection is there.
Yeah, the connection is there would mean you have to reach out to us. Individually, I think we can't cover that here within the session. Other than that, in terms of why dropshipping stores could be blocked, I have an answer to that actually, because a lot of businesses are dropship businesses. They do not have a license. They operate from a personal bank account, and usually Facebook would know that, right? They would know once their domains are not, let's say, credible, there is no legal policies in place. So usually those companies would or tend to forget about it. So dropship doesn't mean always it's someone without a license, but oftentimes it is. So that could be one of the parts being considered. Other than that, I believe, Hisham, you went on with the questions of Mariam, Fatima, Sam, and Faris, I think as well, right?
Yes, I've answered all of the questions, as I believe.
Okay. I think I'm just going to real quick jump into the point. I think from another part of the presentation, is there any other questions in the chat? Anything that you have? No? I mean, you can always reach out to us. This video, as I said earlier, will be posted in YouTube. So there is a chance as well to be in touch with us directly as well. I've seen we've also got a chat from Fatima on My Fatura again. So Hisham, maybe I'll leave that to you to answer. And Same also just mentioned Facebook has made a fatal mistake to my ex-business after generating 7-figure and hard work. I stopped my Shopify store after that. So Same, at one point, as I said, do you have a business license? If yes, please reach out to us, because there is ways to contact them to talk about it and to get things cleared. So Same, I would like to invite you to send us an email to info@creative971.com. And Ahmed, in terms of Shopify payments in the UAE, not yet, but what we've heard of is that Shopify, of course, is enabling Shopify payments through Stripe, and Stripe has a certain pilot project to actually look into that. It's not confirmed. It's no claims I can make here, right? Because in the end, it relies back on the rules and the country rules and Stripe itself as a business. But please reach out to them and check if there could be consideration, especially for you, Ahmed. I know you have many years already business on Shopify, as we know you as a loyal attendee and supporter of our community. So please, head to them directly and reach out there. Other than that, looking at the time span as well, we're almost hitting 6 p.m. So I don't want to make this too long. I just want to blend in real quick the opportunity in regards to the winners. So here again, the slide I've shared in terms of the one lucky winner that will get the 10-step blueprint, and then 3 lucky winners for the 50% of the new masterclass. We've seen a lot of people posting, sharing, engaging, and as we keep this up until 8 p.m. today. So you can encourage your friends, post, repost, tag us, My Fatura UAE, Shopify, DHL Express UAE, and Creative 971. Keep active up until 8 p.m. UAE time, which is another 2 hours and 5 minutes. And then at 8 p.m. sharp, we will be announcing the winners with all of the prospects as mentioned in this screenshot here or in the slide. If you want to contact us, here you go. Contact details of Hisham, Gary, and Ben can be obtained from us or through them directly, which will be shared as well. And yeah, over and above, we wish you guys, of course, to stay safe. And we say thank you for this beautiful almost hour and a half that you've been with us. And let us know if there is any other urgent points, questions that we can answer. I think just now Sean has sent us an email. So that's great. All right, okay. So I'll be closing the event from here. Thank you for everyone. And we will be definitely in touch with you. You can be in touch with us at any time. Let me just see, we think we've done all the points. So yeah, thank you for that, and stay tuned. In another 2 hours, you will have the updates on the winners. And thank you again for all panelists. Thank you to Hisham, thank you, Gary, and thank you, Ben, for making this a really, really impactful session for all of us. And yeah, see you next time, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.